Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Behind the Glass, ladies and gentlemen. Skis, you and I were going to do a video. Something else I want to cover, though. Remember that last video we did where I kind of threw you off track a little bit talking about women and empowerment and all this?
Yeah.
I got another one for you. We're going to do this video in a second. So, no, just trying to get some honest opinions out of you from some of the stuff that's going on right now. You have had the vaccination, correct? Have you had 2 of them? You've had both shots?
Correct.
Okay. I'm not judging you. See, I know you're standoffish. You're like, what's he going to judge me on?
I don't care.
I'm not judgmental. You know this.
Do what you got to do.
So right now, what's happening in Florida? Have you heard anything that's going on in Florida with children? Children apparently, well, I don't know if it's just Florida or if it's nationwide, that children are getting COVID, like under 12. Maybe, I don't know if it's under 12 or if it's like 17 and under, if they consider that children.
Well, technically, one of my kids supposedly did.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm happy that you know that. So,
yeah. Well,
what do you mean? What are your thoughts on this? Because he got COVID. How long did he have it for?
I'm not saying it's not a thing. I just don't think it's as extreme as they make it, I guess.
I looked up.
I'm not saying it's not a thing. So
COVID is not a thing? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's not like not a thing. It is obviously something.
Because your kid
But I think they over-exaggerate what it is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But how do you
I think they take it to the extreme.
Right. People are still not dying like at rates of the flu from it, right?
Well, that's the thing too. What is what? Like nobody's being diagnosed as like having other things and dying from them really either. They kind of just like categorized it into one thing, right?
You're like hospitals are
I feel like they're
incentivized.
kind of just pushing it onto that. Because there are things where like a guy had something with his knee and he had surgery, and I seen they put like they showed like his like how they bill it out, and then they put it under like the COVID stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going under COVID that necessarily isn't always COVID.
Yes. That was, I don't know if this applies necessarily to what you just said, but it's something interesting that I just heard the other day, that if you go to the hospital, you can, like when they give you your receipt when you leave the hospital, you can actually tell them you want a 100% itemized receipt.
Mm-hmm.
It shows exactly everything they're billing you for outside. Like they'll just, like a lot of people just get a big ass, well, excuse my French, a big bill from the hospital and they don't know what they're being charged for. Did you know this one person got a bill from the hospital and he wanted an itemized receipt from them, and on the itemized receipt, you know what was listed? Cough suppressant aid was listed as, it was a cough suppressant aid was listed.
Well,
and
if they gave it to him, they have to bill him for it.
Exactly. But you know what they billed him for? They charged him like, it was like $100 or something for this cough suppressant aid. But do you know what a cough suppressant aid is? A Kleenex. It's a Kleenex, a cough suppressant aid. So when you go to the hospital, you should ask them for an itemized bill receipt. I just wanted to throw that in there because I just recalled that story somebody told me. Hospital bills are dangerous and they screw you on some stuff. But anyway, back to the COVID thing. There's a lot of kids. I'm hearing a lot of kids. I think I've been telling my friends this. We've got Dave sitting in here chilling with us in the studio today again. I've been telling my friends this. I think there's going to be another COVID lockdown this winter. What do you think about that?
Yeah, probably.
You think so? So have you stocked up on your toilet paper and your water and all that other crap? You're not worried about it? You're just going to keep going along living? Oh, you're not one of those guys that panics, huh?
I'll figure it out, man. I ain't worried about it.
So your kid got COVID.
The whole time everybody's panicking, and I never went, like, there's one time I was like, oh, maybe I should get some toilet paper, but I still found it, and it wasn't, like, an issue. I never, like, ran out. So.
No, I just bought paper towels, but you're not supposed to flush paper towels. That's really bad for your plumbing.
I had one instance where I had to get the 1-ply.
I did, yeah. I mean, I had some 1-ply going.
There was a time people lived without toilet paper, so I feel like I can manage if they did. But I'm not worried about, like, If I gotta go outside, man, I'm going outside. Just saying.
Did
If
you?
that comes down to that, that's where I'll go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's another thing I was telling a friend of mine. People don't understand that government or governor mandates are not federal law. So if they mandate that you have to wear a mask and they mandate that you have to stay indoors, that's not a federal law. You don't have to actually listen to that. People don't know that.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that? How long did your kid have COVID, or do you know like how long he was had symptoms?
Symptoms was like a week or so more. He started with body aches, I guess, and then he had it's basically like having the flu.
And he didn't die.
No, but the children are also like it's just like any disease, right? Like older people, they get it because their immune system's like depleted because they're old and they can't fight stuff off anymore. That's why a lot of older people die from it, just like the flu or anything else.
Why are kids getting it now? Is it because it's a new Delta? Is it because of the
they
new
say there's different
variant?
strains, yeah.
So that's
But
why
you also have different strains of the flu. The flu always fluctuated every year.
right.
They never even said the vaccine was never guaranteed to be the right one. So
Yeah, before we did this podcast, I looked up some statistics on it, whatever I could find, and I was looking into deaths from the vaccination itself. And they were saying like up to this point we've had like some website said we've had 3,000 deaths from the vaccinations. Another website said 900, another website said 2,000. It's impossible to know because all these people they're contradicting each other and they have incentive not to say more or incentive to say less or whatever. So
I'm guessing for hospitals, more or less, the one that'd be most accurate probably would be like the CDC, right? Because I feel like they gotta like
the CDC was saying
as a hospital they have to like give them their information. I'm assuming.
Yeah, the CDC's numbers I believe was like the 3,000, almost 4,000 number that I looked at. But
people die every day from a lot of other things. So.
Exactly. But I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's the fact that kids are getting it right now and the fact that we're going into flu season again, which it seemed like last year we got everything confused with the flu just got lumped into COVID, I think, because I don't even think they produced flu numbers last year. The CDC didn't even put out flu season
I think
deaths.
It's just another version of the flu because the flu, everything gets... I watched a good video. I know I'm kind of straying away a little bit, but...
Stray.
I watched a video about the vaccine and the video was kind of bad because I'm not a big... is trying to tell you to like not eat animals. They're like big against eating meat and stuff. But they made a good point at the beginning because so many like your farm animals and stuff like that we're eating are so fully vaccinated, so you're taking in that stuff.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
So like when you eat all that food, it's actually in your system. So it's hard. Stuff's like changing and it's making it harder for people to, it's just like penicillin. Like you keep taking too many things, like eventually you lose like the ability to use it, right? Anything. Right. Like you need more or it just doesn't work anymore.
Are they vaccinating our livestock? Is that a thing for COVID?
No, but vaccinations in general.
Just general vaccinations.
And now
I know
you're
they
eating
give
that
them
meat
shots.
and they're getting vaccinated. And they're killing because they have to do it because they kill them so, little and like, I don't care. I eat meat. I'll eat a steak, whatever. I love it. But, but that's what I'm saying. Like you're taking all that stuff into your body also when you're eating it. Is what they're saying.
I didn't know that actually. I knew it, but I didn't know it. So it's making you
more susceptible to like getting a disease because your body, like if you keep taking that stuff in, eventually you're going to form an immunity to it just like anything else, right?
Right. You would think, but it's just like the way we drink plastic out of plastic bottles and the amount of whatever milligrams per plastic bottle we get of plastic in our bodies. That's actually starting to affect our hormone levels, our testosterone levels in males. With birth rates of males in this country, every male that gets born it's like their testosterone is drastically affected and it just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. It's this weird thing that's happening and a lot of it's based off of the plastics. that we're ingesting just through our food and stuff. And that number is insane. There was a woman scientist, or like a teacher, she teaches at Harvard or something. She was on the Joe Rogan deal, and she was talking, like, she did a lot of research on that, and the numbers, I forget how many years it was until men are born with like the worst levels of testosterone to where they can't even produce more children, but that number's coming up on us soon. But
see, the thing is, I get like the whole vaccine, I get like people don't want to take it because they feel like it's being pushed on them. But if they go to a doctor and they need something, I don't think people realize how much other things get pushed through the FDA as fast as they do, besides the vaccine. The one thing they don't want to do. But then if they need something for like their IBS, right?
Yeah.
They'll go take some drug that just popped up on a commercial that literally will tell you could
That's
probably
true.
die from taking it.
That's true. That's true. So does this not, what do
they
you
just feel they don't like it because someone's telling them maybe they should take it.
Yeah.
Versus that is like a choice.
Yeah. So,
But they'll still take it. If they would have never like pushed it on to people and be like, well, this is your choice, but it'll help you, I feel like more people probably would have took it.
absolutely. Yeah. That's kind of my point. So is it right that they're forcing a vaccination on people, or they're trying to? You're going to need a vaccinate. Do you have a vaccination passport from your vaccinations?
Passport? No, I just have the card.
That's a
that
thing
says,
now,
like,
Skis. Well, that's what that is.
well, yeah, because they want you traveling and not being sick, right?
Is it not
get it.
strange to you that they want everybody vaccinated? It's like in the beginning of COVID when the governors were closing down restaurants.
Oh, they're worried about diseases spreading, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's not, you don't get to decide that for people,
Yeah.
you know? Like in the beginning of the pandemic when they were closing down
they want to
small
tell you
businesses.
what's right or not right? Because some people maybe not be mentally stable to make that decision.
Well, what percentage of the population, though, is not mentally stable enough to make the decision of whether or not they're going to go somewhere that's going to make them sick or not? Like,
well, I don't know.
like I can decide
I
not
get it's
to
your
go.
choice, but some people like refuse to do stuff because, well, let's say one thing, religious reasons, right? Like their religion tells them you shouldn't do that. So they follow their religion based up, but maybe they still think maybe they should, but they're not going to do it because religiously they tell them not to.
So do they not have the right to do that? Are you saying they don't have the right to choose not to do it? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying
'Cause
they
if
might be
their
making their
religion-
decision based off of something else.
So is that okay, though?
Well, that's their choice, yeah.
But that's not what the governors
But
are telling us.
Doesn't mean they're right either.
Exactly, but it doesn't mean that
Right.
that our politicians are right, or our governors,
No.
or the scientists are
Everybody's
right in telling
entitled
you
to their
to
own
take it.
opinion, right?
But they're not. They're trying to make you take the vaccination. You're not
Well,
entitled
because
to
they
have
think
your
that's what's
own.
right, maybe.
Right, but what if it's like what if I think is not having the vaccination? What if
But you
I
still
think
have
that's
a
right?
choice.
Do I?
Yeah.
For how much longer? That's what this conversation is about. For how much longer am I going to be able to choose not to have the vaccination?
I guess. I mean, I don't know that answer.
I'm not necessarily conspiracy.
I'm not for or against it. Like I mean, I took it for certain reasons, and like nothing happened to me.
Right.
So like I get like I don't think it's as bad as some people. Like people had reactions, yes, but what were they taking? Like think about how many other drugs. People are on other drugs daily in this country now.
Exactly.
So they don't know like
exactly
what the side effects will be mixing it with something else in your blood, right?
Yes.
I don't take like maybe for me it's easier because like I don't take like me personally, the worst thing I'll take is a Tylenol.
Yeah.
I'm not someone to like go get drugs for everything.
Same.
Like
here.
I'll tough it out
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah. So that's funny that you say that, because the CDC, especially when they're talking about these COVID numbers, in terms of the vaccination and death and stuff, they're always bringing up these websites that I was looking at. They're always bringing up the fact that, you know, these people probably didn't die from the vaccination. They probably had underlying conditions and stuff. But when people were catching COVID and dying from COVID, the CDC doesn't want to talk about those people's underlying conditions possibly being the cause, like being
Well, it's
overweight.
easier to label it that this is what happened.
Yeah.
Even for the people working in the hospital, it saves a whole bunch of paperwork, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, oh, done.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Just
Right?
they're looking for the
And-
path of least resistance.
And I'm not saying like, and they're getting kickbacks. I mean, the hospitals get a bunch of stuff from,
Yeah.
and that's been proven with flu shots and everything else. They have to promote stuff, and they get paid by drug companies to do that.
Right,
It's a
right.
proven thing.
I was listening to a
They get
podcast
kickbacks.
talking about this. Hospitals, if you think about it in this country, are incentivized to keep people sick.
Well, yeah. Where's the money in not being sick?
I know they thrive. So for all we know, they could have. Didn't Joe Biden say, I'm going to release the cure for cancer right before he was elected? He said, if I'm elected, I'll show you the cure for cancer. He said that. I
Well, he
recall
might have-
that.
People say things too to also get elected.
But who in the hell would say something like that?
Well, obviously he didn't.
For all we know, there could be a cure to cancer out there, but why would they give it to you? Because they're making money. Like, if you think about it, that's a really sick
Well, insurance
way to
companies
think
are making-
about it. But yeah.
Well, look at the there's doctors that have been proven and lost their right to practice medicine because they have falsely told people they've had cancer and put them through chemo.
Yeah. And that doctor did that to hundreds of people.
And it's more than one doctor.
And he went to jail eventually. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been more than one. Yeah.
But
They're
they straight proven some, but some maybe not because they're probably smarter about it, I suppose.
Dude, it's crazy. But then we had a hospital walkout, not a walkout, but a hospital standout of doctors. I forget what state it was in, where they all went outside and stood, and this lady was like, we're sick and tired of people coming in with COVID because they weren't like masking up or getting vaccinated. So we're all of us doctors are out.
You get protests on both sides.
The doctors were protesting. I'm like, that's your job. Like, do you want firefighters to protest people burning their houses to the ground? Like, we're going to stand out because people keep lighting fires. Like, what if the firefighters, like, that's your damn job. Your job is not to protest your damn job.
But they have people, it's like a thing now, right? Protest everything.
Yeah, but you don't get to protest people getting sick if they get sick. Like, you don't get to do that as a doctor. Your job is to treat the patient. You don't protest them because they didn't want to take a vaccination.
They do get that right.
They're doing it, and they do have that right. But
Yeah.
then everyone should have the
Freedom of
right
speech,
also.
right?
Everyone should also have the
Yeah.
right not to get a vaccination too, correct?
And they aren't. And people
Not yet,
obviously people are fighting about stuff back and forth, but that's going to be a forever thing.
for sure. And it's probably blown out of proportion. You know,
It doesn't help that our politicians don't come together and do things together.
No,
They're making it worse.
that's true, man. And
Our
everything.
government's divided, so are the people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the fact that we have Democrats and Republicans is a huge problem.
The fact that they can't work together on anything is the problem.
And neither
I
can
get having different opinions, but you got to come together on something.
they can't, man. And it keeps getting worse and worse
Oh, for
every
sure.
election cycle.
Everyone's so opinionated, but nobody can find the middle ground, right?
No, it's sketchy. Like, being independent is the new thing now. Like, you're really standing up for something if you're an independent individual who doesn't.
But yet the independent don't win nothing.
They don't win anything. But I think that's slowly going to change, right?
Yeah.
I think eventually, maybe within the next few elections, there's going to be a guy who is completely independent who shows up. Like, I hate to say it, but like a Donald Trump character. You know, somebody who's just wild, and everybody's like, you know what? F this. I have Hillary here. I have so-and-so here. There's no way I'm voting for these two. We've seen the disaster in the past, 8 years or whatever. Let's get crazy here, right? And here's my thing. I wonder if it'll be allowed to happen. If the votes actually went through, would the voting machines mess up and somebody else gets it? Like, I'm not going to say the F word, but
That's where it comes in, like the whole one world government, people's conspiracy, whatever, but it's an easy fix for them.
oh, man.
They don't know how to fix it. So
If
they're
they-
like, well, let's just do this. Everybody come together and we do this now.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. We'll see.
Not saying it'll happen,
I don't know.
but I'm just saying I get why people say it.
There's some validity to some of that stuff for sure. But who knows how much. We need to go into government. I need to be the president, I think. President J-Jack, Vice VP Skis.
VP? Yeah. I'll just hide in the shadows.
Yeah, you'll be Joe. The VP
I ain't
doesn't
Joe.
do
No, man.
I thought I was gonna get to
Hey,
slip
he might
that
not be
one by.
president much longer.
Yeah, I know. Camilla's gonna impeach him.
That's the thing, though.
Kamala.
Everybody
Kamala.
predicted that before it even happened. This
I
is
know. How could
that's
he?
scary.
This
That's
is
actually scary.
It is. And this is what's really scary, how fast he fell apart. It was like they say he was on drugs like amphetamines and stuff to keep him going.
He can't
through
handle the stuff.
Well,
man.
that's what I'm
the
saying.
thing.
He was on the amphetamines and stuff just to keep him going to get elected, to get him through like the debates and stuff. Then they're like, we can't keep him on this stuff because he's going to die.
Let's get rid of him.
After that, yeah, we'll take him off of it. And now we just...
We'll
he
just
can
use
read,
him to do a bunch of stupid things.
He can read the teleprompter, right?
It's not technically not his fault. He's just getting scapegoated, right? Like he's the bully.
He's nobody. Does the president have any real power? Shouldn't we be
Trump
looking?
probably did because he made it that way. Like he's like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right. He had
Like,
power
you're not
because he
gonna-
was polarizing. He was like he
He's
caused
like, you're not going to just tell me what to do.
exactly. He like got Trump only had power because he got people who were like 100% on his side or people who were 100% not on his side. He didn't have like the wishy-washies that we have with Biden, who is like, well, he's Joe Biden. He's, whatever. At least he's not Trump. We have those people. Trump was like, you're either a trumpet or you are not, and he had those people. And when you're able to be like that kind of a person where you have supporters that are they stormed the Capitol for Trump, like those kind of people. Oh yeah. Then you gain some power for sure as the president. But outside of that, like our
When
governors
Biden got elected, he had to have troops there to like keep people out.
to protect him from getting killed.
It's like somehow I got elected, but I got to protect myself from my own people.
Yeah. What kind
That
of
doesn't make
president
sense,
are you?
does it?
The people don't want you. What does that say? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they still have the barricades around Washington?
I don't know if they still do. I guess I haven't gone there. Probably not. But people probably faded out. They had to go back to their lives and do what they needed to do.
Right.
But taking
We
their
all
families
just-
and stuff like that.
Yeah, we all just kind of forgot about Joe, except for the video clips that come up online. We're like, oh, he couldn't read the teleprompter screen.
Sad. It makes you worried who the next person will be.
It's Kamala. What are you talking about?
No, I meant after like their term is over.
You would think. I don't know. I don't want.
I'm not saying Trump shouldn't run, but like
He shouldn't.
if you were him, why would you? Like, just seems like fuck. Sorry for my language, but yeah, nah.
No, man.
I'm
Speak.
done. Give it up. Like,
Yeah,
go
we
live
need-
your life, man.
We need Trey Gowdy.
You've been working your whole life. Like, they definitely need to introduce a younger crowd into the president. They get rid of the old people.
How young? Have you seen our TikTokers?
No,
we
but I'm
want-
saying people that are in government. Like, get rid of those guys.
Yeah, get rid of Nancy Pelosi. I'll say
all
it.
of them.
I
All
don't
the
give
old
a
people.
damn.
Get rid of them. They're too old. Bring in somebody that's in their 40s.
They're not even. They're not even just too
Somebody
old.
that can make his presidency, not worried that he's going to die in office.
Have a heart attack on stage. He looks like he's ready
Yeah.
for bedtime every time he steps up there. And I'm not.
And why would you
Picking
want
on
to do
Joe.
it then either? Like, man, you got grandchildren. Like, you got to know. Like, you got to know you're on your last leg of your life. Like, go live your life. Like, is this what you want to do till you die?
He knows. He knows. I think he just wanted to continue Obama's legacy, and he didn't realize he wasn't capable of doing that. And Obama's legacy was.
It's time to move on.
It's time to move on. Maybe we do need a very young president, because our young people are all about peace and love, and we're mushy.
I'm
we're
not
weak.
saying you need somebody young that's stupid.
No, but
You need somebody that's actually going to, like, be able to do things in there.
speaking of doing things, before we close this video, we got about like 4 more minutes. What do you think about the pullout of Afghanistan? Have you been watching that at all?
Yeah. I'm not saying it wasn't something that needed to happen, but it didn't happen the way it should have.
We gave up. From what I hear, there were 2 airports that we had. We gave up one of them. We had control of one airport, and we kept the one. Was that the one in Kabul? I don't know, but we kept the one airport that we gave out of, and we just pulled everybody off to one side and just let them run. We let the Taliban just
Well, we're
a corrupt.
supposed to let the other government take over, but they obviously had no holds on anything. It proves I'm sorry to say, I feel bad for the people that went there. It sucks that they like devoted their time to like
20 years, bro, for nothing.
props to those people doing that stuff.
And props to the one poor dude, which I don't know if it was just one soldier or a bunch of them. I think it was a bunch of our soldiers that died in that explosion.
Well, 13.
But those guys, yeah, it was 13. Those guys, man, at the end of their freaking tour there, that's how they die coming out of Iraq. That was bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Can you
We
imagine?
definitely didn't leave the way. Like, I'm not saying it's not somewhere we needed to get away from, because that's obviously like was plans in the past too. You know, you got to eventually let them like take over their government and do their thing. We went over there to help, but obviously they didn't have a hold on things, and we left in the wrong way.
We should have always left a force there. That's not my opinion of it. That's me going and listening to like Jocko Willink talking about it, and listening to Tim Kennedy, and listening to freaking what's the other dude? The cleared hot Andy Stumpf. Like, I'm listening to people who were soldiers actually over there. They're talking about it. They're saying we should have left always a small force over in Afghanistan.
The only thing that sucks is like it just shows like as much as we did there, like how we didn't have handle on things.
We didn't have a handle on nothing.
Because how fast they took it back over in his 20 years, man. Like,
Yeah.
that shows what did we do?
20 years. And what people don't know is the Russians initially went over and invaded.
Before, yeah.
Yeah, and we went over there to fight the Russians and kick the Russians out. And then the Afghanistans, they started, I don't know, they did their attack on 9/11. Osama bin Laden did his attack on 9/11 because when we kicked out the Russians, they got this strange sense of power, like, and notoriety that kind of they had done it, you know? And so they developed this army of people over there, and they were like ready to wage jihad. They call it jihad. It's like war, wage war against the United States. But they got big heads basically from that war in thinking that they had defeated the Russians. It was Americans that went over there and kicked the Russians out of Kabul and Afghanistan and stuff like that. We did that. And then somehow these terrorist cells popped up over there because they had power, they had control, and they didn't let that control go. They pretty much just took the place of the Russians and just became the bullies themselves. And then they had these I don't know, these little contentions with the United States. They wanted to hurt the United States. Like, that's a pretty in-depth story. You should go watch. It's a documentary about 9/11. You should actually watch.
You're going back to like the Palestine. I mean, it's the West versus the East, right? It's always been a thing. And
It is.
religious wise, it's a war that's never ending.
No.
It goes all the way back to like the Holy Grail,
Yeah.
basically.
And what people don't understand.
It's a war that's never ending and never will end.
No, dude. And the Taliban is actually the army that we were supposed to be working with. When people hear the name Taliban, they think those are the terrorists over there. ISIS is the terrorists. Taliban technically are the terrorists.
I don't know what they are because I've never been there, but I feel like they're definitely double-sided. And
The Taliban were the forces that we were training, you know, to help take over and to keep stuff. We're running out of time. I got to close this video out. Dave, Skis, J-Jack. We're going to do another video. Cue the music. We should do the cue the music. Ladies and gentlemen, drop the mic. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.